Well, it's time to go inside the papers now, and joining us this morning is former editor of the Daily Star, Dawn Neeson, and Olympian Chris Akabusi. And Chris, I've just heard from a little birdie that it's your birthday today.
Thank you very much, Ben. You're 64.
I was just going to say, when
years from now,
will you still be sending me a
Valentine?
birthday greetings? Ellie doesn't know the words.
I haven't got a clue.
64.
I know. I thought I was 46, but I won't.
You're looking great. You're looking great. Oh, well, happy birthday.
There we go. No, thank you very much.
Birthday.
Next to you, who wouldn't want to be there to see you? And then, come on, look at this. What a party. The best party out. Check it out.
Are you having a do tonight?
No.
It's worth it.
I'm going to my daughters, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we're very happy you chose to spend it with us. So thank you. Thank you, Chris.
We're bonding over both being Sagittarians, Chris and I. We have lots to bond over, but Sagittarians.
I don't understand
The best.
star signs really, but there you go. I'm sure it's a fabulous sign.
Oh. Hello. Stand still.
That's what you want.
It's all kicking off in the back now.
It's all going to fall apart.
Oh, dear.
It's like Crossroads. Remember Crossroads?
What is going on? Chaos. Anyway.
Right, let's kick off with the eye, should we?
Do some work.
Sunak's losing control. I mean, we're losing control, but
I dread to. This is front page of the Eye, and this is Rishi Sunak, who is obviously giving a speech laying out his plans at the Lord Mayor's banquet in the city later on today. But he's already, how long has he been in the job? It feels like 5 minutes, doesn't it?
Yeah, not long.
You blink and there's another one. But he's facing revolt from the Tories over energy, housing, migration, policing, transport. There's a whole list of things. I mean, the big thing seems to be this wind farm thing.
Yes.
I mean, they're trying to force him into a
according to
U-turn.
Grant Shapps, no.
No, it's not happening.
I don't understand.
I'm curious that a cabinet minister would say that.
Oh no, but Kai's got a fair point. The papers do ramp things up a bit.
We were talking about. We heard you say that, Chris and I. So perish the thought that newspapers ever make anything up. Honestly, but that is the latest Tory rebellion. I mean, at the moment we're not.
Sorry, now basically we're in the throes of a dying party, you know, and people know that they're going to get the tic-tac at the end in 2 years' time, and so they're having the squabbles out and in public. But actually, you know, when Keir Starmer took over the Labour Party, that was also in disarray, and he's not charismatic. He doesn't project himself when it comes to speaking, but what he is very good is very managerial, and he's tight down the battens on a dysfunctional party, the Labour Party. So you can see the script. All the media are looking at the Conservative Party saying, these guys, they're dying, they're falling apart, they're arguing. Oh, look over here, a ready-made replacement. Who are you going to be voting for? I mean, not me, but you know, let's get these guys.
Well, the other part of this story is that there's a warning that voters are so fed up with the migration situation, they might be turning to parties like Reform because to really get that message across there. So.
Well, we get a lot of messages from people saying, I've always been a Tory voter, but I'm going to vote Reform. I mean, the migration thing has been, I mean, you can't look at that in any other way but say, this is just critical now, isn't it?
Well, yeah. Again, my fear with that is that we've talked a lot about migration, and even and again, we in the media we get, when I say a flavour of the month, some topic gets all of the highlights. I remember 2-3 years ago, we were all talking about ISIS, we were all talking about beheadings, we were all talking about terrorism. We don't talk about that anymore. Does that mean that there's nowhere in the country where that sort of atrocity is actually happening? I don't know, but what we are now talking about is a migration challenge.
The problem is with migration. Alan's been in touch. Morning, Alan said you should come to Eastbourne. We have 10 hotels, 2 more on the outskirts. We simply won't have tourists next year because all the hotels are already full. Because the problem is, it affects whole communities and whole local economies, doesn't it?
No, of course, and some of it's got to be done. What is going to be done, I do not know. For example, nudge, 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 are we moving to a scenario where all the migrants come will have some sort of identification that says that they are migrants? Do they then get shipped to some sort of camp, let's leave it there, where they're all housed in old army billets, for example? Are they then encouraged, however you like to use the word encouraged to do some sort of the menial tasks like that the normal homebound Brits are not doing, porters, slopping out? Where are we going to go with all of this challenges we've got with our migrants?
Yeah, but you have to do something, or someone has to do something. I mean, when you've got ordinary people being worried about heating their own homes this winter, and you've got migrants being put up in hotels at taxpayers' expense, and those taxpayers can't afford to pay their own bills.
No, exactly. So
this is what's annoying people.
So would you be for migrants who wanted to stay in this country, for example, being encouraged to have a 5-year programme where they worked to show that their commitment to the country? I mean, assuming that they qualify some way in the end.
I'd be for actually someone coming out of the system where the processing was quick and efficient, and people weren't living in terrible conditions, people weren't risking their lives crossing the channel, and there was a simple way to apply for asylum if you're a genuine asylum seeker. No one's come up with that one yet, though.
No, not yet. Can we have a look at the Chris in the Times, because this one piques my fancy. I know you were in the military as well. Armed forces personnel could be getting the green goddesses out and what have you to help with the NHS and fire service and whatever else might be going on.
In a weird way, this is quite calming for me, because, like you said, your husband, wife, your partner, your husband is in the military. The military have standard operation procedures. You know 100% that they are prepared for any eventuality. There's something called MACA, Military Aid to Civil Authorities. It's not been activated yet, but I'm quite sure that senior officers are already having contingency plans. They're already planning, if the civil authorities breaks down, we cannot take care of ourselves, how can we step in as ambulance drivers, paramedics, catering, junior doctors? In the times it's about the NHS crisis. If they do go to a strike, how do we ensure that the basic facilities are kept up and running? And it's quite calming for me to know that actually the military have got us. They're
got
there.
A contingency.
We have got a contingency plan, and I know it will be tickety-boo. They've been planning, they'll have exercises, and they'll be ready for when they're called upon. Even though at the moment no one's asking the military to worry about it, the military are worrying about it.
Well, Chris, you're not alone. Sorry, we've got a GB view that says almost the same thing as you, Chris. It's Nancy. She says, it's good to see the army being brought in to run the NHS. At least it might run properly. You need to stay in hospital to see how bad it truly is. So I think it will calm a lot of people, but it's also, it just brings it home, doesn't it? Just quite how overwhelmed and understaffed our NHS is, but we're having to draft in the army.
It's a frightening proposition, isn't it? It really is. I mean, as I think everyone agrees that it's not working at the moment, it's not fit for purpose, but as soon as you go down that road and even try and have that debate, you want to privatise it. No, we just need to talk about the situation we're in.
I tell you what I find very interesting with this, because it's interesting that if you had a contingency plan for something like the railways or the post office, it would be seen as undermining the strike act or the validity of the strike or the message of the strike. With this, it doesn't, does it? Because we all have stuff that needs to be done, and it doesn't take away from a valid message that nurses are saying that we are struggling, we are really struggling with this.
Yeah, well, I suspect if we talk about engineering, the Royal Engineers and the REME, they will also be having a contingency plan if things went wrong for other infrastructure. So that's the great thing about our military. They will be there, and they're planning. It's not actually it's going to happen. No one's called us in, but the whole idea of failing to plan is planning to fail. We're very fortunate. We've got this contingency, this whole swath of people, and it's not that many. I mean, what's the military forces now?
It's not a huge.
No, I mean, I know when I was a soldier. When I was a soldier, there was 300,000 soldiers in BAOR, British Army on the Rhine. I think we've got some 80,000 soldiers.
It's not quite enough to fill Wembley Stadium.
Really?
Incredible.
The frightening thing.
That's our forces.
And they're very poorly paid as well.
Definitely,
for what they do.
Yeah.
And care as well. I mean, we might as well
Yep.
get into all of that as well, couldn't we? Dawn, I have to ask you about this headline in the Daily Star. We're all going to get 4 inches.
I know, it's great. Sorry, she's talking about the weather. Because 4 inches.
Dawn.
Slightly disappointing, Ellie. Sorry, where are we going with this? Anyways, this is the Daily Star talking about a new beast from the east. Not now, beast from the east, please. It's a bit wet and windy and a bit mild at the moment, but come the beginning of December, we are having a cold front coming in from Russia with lots of snow, which is what you're referring to, obviously,
Yes.
Ellie. Those marvellous 4 inches.
Yes.
Well,
We had a lovely warm November. I'm quite upset about this.
yeah, I like it. Look, if it's going to be bright and sunny and crisp, that's what
nice.
That's what December should be. A bright, sunny, cold, crisp Christmas day is lovely, isn't it?
Oh, no.
But the country
That's
just...
not...
fancy it.
No. I'd love to be in California weather with the sun and the beaches and pina colada.
You should be on your birthday.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's my birthday. What an Ellie!
Quite
Much
right.
rather be here with us, though.
Yeah, of course, of
Tell you
course.
what, there's something nice about White Christmas, though.
Yeah.
And could we get one? Potentially then.
Yes, absolutely. Bookies are. I've adjusted the old 6 to 4 on a white Christmas.
When's the last time we had a white Christmas then? Does anyone?
We're really putting
I don't know.
all on the spot.
Okay, well, we'll get these viewers to write in their white Christmas.
White Christmases, yeah. You only need about 2 flakes of snow in one part of the country.
On top of the Cairngorms, yeah.
Yeah. Lovely, you two. Thank you very much indeed. We'll catch up with you a little bit later
Cheers,
on.
Stephen.
Dawn and birthday boy over here.
Yeah, thank you.